Pain is the first teacher, and it's the lesson nobody asks for, but everybody receives. When the people we love leave first, the world doesn't just change, you change. Something inside you cracks open, and for the first time in your life, you feel everything. You feel everything. You feel the weight of time. You feel the fragility of relationships. You feel how quickly life can take, even after giving so much. And in that trembling, in that moment, you can barely breathe. Life is teaching you the greatest truth of all. Comfort never built anyone. Comfort never sharpened a soul. Comfort never made a human being rise. Pain did. The shock of loss becomes the thunder that shakes you awake. Before that moment, you were sleepwalking through life, thinking every day was the same, thinking the people you love would always be there. And suddenly, in one painful moment, life strips that illusion away. Pain becomes the teacher because it demands attention. You can ignore a blessing, you can overlook joy, but you cannot ignore heartbreak. Heartbreak hits harder than any lesson because loss is irreversible. There are no do-overs, no rewind buttons. And once life teaches you through pain, you never see the world the same again. Pain forces you to grow in a way comfort never could. When someone you love leaves first, you don't just feel empty, you feel exposed, vulnerable. And that vulnerability becomes the birthplace of self-awareness. You begin to understand what you took for granted, the moments you wasted, the conversations you postponed because you thought there would be more time. You replay memories like they're scenes in a movie, trying to find a way back into a moment you can never revisit. And that ache, that indescribable ache, it becomes the motivation that pushes you forward. Pain teaches what joy hides. It teaches you discipline because suffering has a way of reorganizing your priorities. When you're hurting, you stop caring about petty things. You stop chasing distractions. You stop wasting your days with people who drain your energy. Pain strips away the noise and leaves only the truth. And here's the most powerful part. Pain reveals your strength. You think you know yourself until the people you love leave first. Then life shows you who you really are. Pain shows you your endurance. It shows you your ability to stand even when your heart feels like it's breaking. It shows you that you are capable of surviving the very moments you thought would destroy you. And surviving that kind of pain doesn't just make you stronger. It makes you wiser. It makes you more intentional. It makes you more grateful. You start cherishing people differently. You start living differently. Pain becomes a reminder that time is precious, that people are temporary, and that you must give your best while you still can. Pain teaches you that nothing is promised, not love, not life, not even tomorrow. It's a harsh teacher, but it's honest. And once pain teaches you, truly teaches you, you carry those lessons for the rest of your life. Because after someone you love leaves first, you are never the same again. And that is exactly how the lesson was meant to work. Love makes us blind, and loss makes us see. And that truth is something most people don't realize until life forces them to. When everything is good, when the people we love are close, when laughter fills our days, when comfort wraps around us like a warm blanket, we stop noticing the things that matter. We stop paying attention. We move through life on autopilot, believing we have time, believing the people we love will stay forever, believing moments will repeat themselves. Love creates a beautiful illusion, a soft fog that makes us feel safe, protected, unshakable. But that same fog keeps us from seeing reality clearly. We forget to say the words that matter. We delay the conversations that could bring healing. We assume tomorrow will look like today. That is what love does. It blinds us with its warmth, its familiarity, its safety. But when loss enters the room, everything changes instantly. One moment you're living your normal life, and the next moment something or someone you love is gone, and suddenly your vision sharpens like never before. You start seeing every detail you once overlooked. You remember the things you should have said. You remember the moments you took for granted. You recall the times you were too busy, too distracted too stressed to appreciate what you had right in front of you. Loss removes the fog. It strips away the illusion that love gives us. It forces you to confront the truth you were too comfortable to face. Nothing in this life is permanent. Loss teaches you what love hid. It makes you aware of time, real, finite, irreplaceable time. When someone you love leaves first, you realize how precious minutes are, how rare genuine connection is, and how dangerous it is to treat people like they'll always be there. Loss teaches awareness through heartbreak. And as painful as it is, it sharpens your soul like nothing else. Suddenly, the things you used to ignore matter again. The small moments, the simple gestures, the little conversations, you start valuing them in a way you didn't before. It's almost cruel how loss opens your eyes so wide, but sometimes clarity requires a broken heart. Loss also changes what you see in yourself. When you love someone deeply, you often depend on them emotionally, mentally, sometimes even spiritually. You let them become part of your identity. And when they leave, a part of you feels ripped away. But in that empty space, you start discovering parts of yourself you never noticed. You see your own strength. You see your resilience. You see your capacity to survive pain that feels unbearable. A loss makes you see who you really are beneath the layers of comfort, beneath the layers of attachment, beneath the version of yourself that love allowed you to hide behind. And the most powerful truth is this: once loss opens your eyes, you never go back to who you were. You become more intentional with your time. You become more present with the people you have. You become more grateful. Love made you blind, but loss made you see clearly enough to finally live with purpose. Life removes people to reveal your strength, and that lesson is never gentle. It comes disguised as heartbreak, as abandonment, as loneliness so heavy you can feel it in your bones. But beneath that pain is a truth you don't realize until life forces it out of you. You were always stronger than you believed. Sometimes the people you depend on are taken away, not because life is cruel, but because life knows you will never step into your real power while leaning on them. As long as you have someone to fall back on, you never learn how far you can rise. As long as you have someone holding your hand, you never learn what your own hands are capable of building. Loss becomes the moment when life says, now it's your turn. Now you walk alone. Now you discover who you really are. When someone leaves, whether by choice, by circumstance, or by fate, you suddenly stand face to face with parts of yourself you never had to confront before. You discover fears you ignored. You uncover strengths you didn't know existed. You begin to see your own potential, not because someone encourages you, but because you no longer have a choice. People stay as long as their presence is part of your growth. But when their chapter in your life closes, their absence becomes the new teacher. And even though it hurts, even though you feel betrayed by timing and destiny, their departure is often the very thing that pushes you into becoming the person you were meant to be. Strength doesn't show up when everything is easy. It shows up the moment you lose something you thought you couldn't survive without. Every tear you shed becomes a piece of proof that you're still fighting. Every morning you wake up and take a breath, even when it feels heavy, becomes a sign of resilience. And every step you take through your pain becomes a declaration that you are not done yet. That strength was inside you long before anyone left life, just had to remove the people you were relying on so you could finally see it. People often think loss weakens them, but loss is what removes the crutches. It forces you to stand on your own legs, your own beliefs, your own courage. You learn to make decisions without waiting for approval. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to rely on your own voice instead of the voices you once leaned on. And over time, you look back and realize something powerful. The very thing that broke you is the thing that built you. The truth is, life isn't trying to hurt you when it takes people away. It's showing you the depth of your own capacity. It's revealing the warrior in you. It's stripping away everything that keeps you small so you can rise bigger. And once you rise, once you grow into your true strength, you begin to understand that not everyone was meant to stay forever. Some people were meant to shape you. Some were meant to push you. And some were meant to leave so you could finally become unstoppable. Leaving isn't always abandonment. Sometimes it's direction. And this is one of the hardest truths to accept. When someone walks out of your life, especially someone you trusted, someone you loved, someone you believed would stay, your first instinct is to feel rejected. You feel like you weren't enough, like you failed, like life is punishing you. But with time, reflection, and growth, you begin to see a different perspective. Not every person who leaves is meant to stay, and not every departure is meant to break you. Some are meant to guide you. Some are meant to shift you. Some are meant to push you into the version of yourself you couldn't become while they were still standing beside you. There are moments when life removes people because you were becoming too comfortable. You were settling into routines that kept you small. You relied on their presence as a shield against fear, against responsibility, against potential. You let their existence fill the spaces you were to grow into. Their voice became louder than your own. Their opinions became safer than your dreams. And so life did what you couldn't. It ended the chapter. It turned the page. It took them out of your story so you could finally confront the path you were avoiding. Being left behind feels like the universe is taking something from you, but many times it's clearing the way. It's making room. It's forcing you forward. Sometimes the direction you need is disguised as loss. And when someone steps out of your life, it can create a silence so loud that you finally hear your own purpose calling. It gives you a space to think. It gives you a chance to reset. It gives you clarity that love, comfort, and routine often hide from you. You don't realize how much of your identity you wrapped around someone until they're gone. You don't realize how much of your potential you dimmed to keep the peace, to keep the connection, to avoid rocking the boat. Their leaving becomes the shock that breaks the spell. Suddenly, you're pushed into decisions you kept delaying. You're propelled into independence you didn't know you had. You're guided toward goals you were too scared to chase before. Their absence becomes direction because it forces you to move. And here's the truth many people refuse to accept. Some people were never meant to walk your whole journey. They were only meant to escort you to a certain point. They were a lesson, a catalyst, a turning point, but not the destination. If they had stayed, they might have kept you from growing. If they had stayed, you might have never discovered your strength, your drive, your hunger, your resilience. Life removes them not to punish you, but to refine you. And when you look back years later with clearer eyes and a stronger heart, you finally understand they didn't leave you. Life moved them so you could move forward. Their departure, what abandonment. It was direction. It was timing. It was transformation disguised as loss. And in that realization, you find peace and the courage to keep going. Grief creates discipline. And as strange as that sounds, it's one of the most powerful and transformative truths life offers. When everything in your world is comfortable, you have the luxury of wasting time. You have the luxury of being distracted, procrastinating, avoiding your purpose, drifting from day to day as if you have an eternity. But when grief hits, real grief, the kind that shakes your bones and steals the air from your lungs, your entire relationship with time, effort, and life changes instantly. Grief strips away the illusions you once lived inside. It reveals what matters and destroys everything that doesn't. Suddenly, every minute is heavier. Every choice feels important. Every moment has weight. Grief makes you disciplined because it forces you to face the reality that nothing is promised, not love, not life, not even tomorrow. When someone you love leaves, first, your priorities shift overnight. The things that used to bother you, frustrate you, distract you, they fall away like dust. The arguments you used to hold on to, the grudges you kept alive, the fears you let control you, they lose their power. You realize how small most of your problems truly were. Grief teaches discipline by narrowing your focus. It teaches you that you can't waste your life on things that don't matter, because you've already learned how quickly something meaningful can be taken. You start valuing the things that deserve your attention and releasing everything else. Discipline becomes less about force and more about clarity. Grief also teaches discipline through responsibility. When someone you leaned on is gone, you're forced to step into roles you never had to play before. You become the one who must stay strong, the one who must handle life, the one who must continue moving forward even when your heart is shattered. It doesn't mean the pain disappears. It means you learn to function with it. You learn to keep going despite it. You develop a mental toughness that comfort could never give you. You discover that discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up even when your spirit feels bruised. It's about standing tall even when life knocks the wind out of you. And grief teaches discipline through appreciation. When you lose someone, you begin to understand the value of presence. You become more intentional with your words, your time, your relationships. You stop leaving things unsaid. You stop postponing love. You stop delaying your dreams. The pain of loss reminds you that life is short, and that reminder becomes a driving force. Discipline grows from the desire to live fully, to honor the people who are gone by becoming someone they would be proud of. You start giving your best because you know how quickly things can change. You become committed not because it's easy, but because you've witnessed the cost of waiting too long. Grief transforms you. It sharpens you. It pushes you to rise above laziness, excuses, and fear. It makes you disciplined because it teaches you what comfort never will, as your time is limited, your relationships are fragile, and your purpose cannot be delayed. Once grief has shaped you, you walk differently, you decide differently, you live differently. And the discipline you gain becomes one of the few gifts born from the pain of losing someone you love. You become unstoppable when you stop waiting for someone to save you. And that shift in mindset is one of the most powerful transformations a human being can experience. As long as you believe someone is coming to rescue you, to fix your life, to heal your pain, or to carry your burdens, you remain stuck emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You stay in a state of dependency without even realizing it. But when life takes away the people you relied on, when circumstances force you into a place where all you have left is yourself, something incredible begins to happen. You start discovering a strength, a fire, a determination that was always inside you but stayed silent because you never needed it before. When you stop waiting for help, for comfort, for reassurance, you finally tap into the version of yourself capable of changing everything. It's not that you don't want support. It's not that you don't appreciate love or connection, but you come to understand that nobody, no partner, no parent, no friend can walk your journey for you. They can support you, yes. They can encourage you, yes. But the hard steps, the painful decisions, the battles in your mind, those are yours alone. When people you love leave first, it forces a kind of awakening. For the first time, you realize that no matter how close someone is to you, they cannot live your life. They cannot fight your demons. They cannot chase your dreams. They cannot build your future. That responsibility has always been yours, and stepping into it is where your unstoppable nature begins. When you stop waiting for someone to lift you up, you start learning how to lift yourself. And that's when everything changes. You begin to choose differently. You begin to think differently. You begin to move with intention instead of hesitation. You stop hoping for things to get better and start making them better. You stop blaming circumstances and start creating circumstances. You stop depending on luck, timing, and people and start depending on your discipline, your choices, your resilience. That is the moment you shift from surviving life to shaping it. Losing someone or being left behind often feels like being thrown into the deep end without a life jacket. But that's how you learn you can swim. That's how you learn you can breathe underwater when you must. That's how you learn your strength was never fragile. It was simply untested. Every painful moment becomes proof that you are capable. Every challenge becomes a reminder that you can endure. Every time you get up after falling, you build a version of yourself that doesn't break easily anymore. And here's the truth. The moment you stop waiting to be saved, life starts opening doors you never noticed before. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. You start seeing growth instead of grief. You start understanding that you are not powerless. You are powerful. You have always been powerful. The people who left didn't take your strength with them. If anything, they unlocked it. You become unstoppable because you finally realize the only person who was ever meant to save you was you. And once you embrace that, nothing, no loss, no setback, no heartbreak can keep you from becoming everything you were meant to be.